Sometimes I think people expect too much from a woman who just wanted one perfect night. Look, make sure to hit that like button if you enjoy hearing the real tea, and don't forget to subscribe if you're new here, because this story is about to get wild. I'm Cora, 27, and 9 days before what should have been my dream wedding, everything exploded in the most ridiculous way possible. Russell, my fiancé of 3 years, was this tech project manager who thought he could control every aspect of my life. The man was exhausting, always asking where I was going, who I'd be with, what time I'd be home, like I was some teenager who couldn't be trusted. Meanwhile, he'd work late constantly, leaving me to wonder what he was really doing at that office. The double standard was infuriating. My dad, Victor, owns 3 car dealerships and had dropped $80,000 on our wedding. He specifically told me to keep my bachelorette party low-key because his business partners would be attending, and Russell kept reminding me about it like I was some child. So when Chelsea and the girls suggested we ditch the wine night at her apartment for an actual club, I figured what Russell didn't know wouldn't hurt him. It was supposed to be my last night of freedom after all. The club was absolutely electric that Thursday night. I felt more alive than I had in months, dancing with my bridesmaids, finally feeling like myself again, instead of Russell's perfect little fiancé. That's when Logan appeared, this gorgeous guy who actually saw me, who made me feel like the center of the universe. Russell had been so focused on wedding details and work that he barely looked at me anymore, let alone made me feel desired. When Logan pulled me onto his lap, every rational thought disappeared. The way he touched my waist, the way he looked at me like I was the only woman in the room, it was intoxicating. My friends were cheering, taking photos, and I felt more alive than I had in years. Sure, things got heated. I was grinding on him, letting him do body shots, off me kissing his neck. When we started making out and his hands wandered under my dress, I didn't stop him because Russell had made me feel invisible for so long that I'd forgotten what desire felt like. I posted everything to my Instagram story because I looked incredible and felt free for the first time in forever. Last night of freedom seemed perfect. Every bride deserves one wild night right. It was just dancing, just celebrating, just fun with the girls. I woke up Friday morning to my phone buzzing nonstop with notifications. That's when I saw Russell's comment on my story. First night of freedom, actually. Wedding's off. My stomach dropped. He'd changed his relationship status to single. And this part still makes me furious, tagged my father. My own father, Russell, knew exactly what he was doing. Knew Dad had paid for everything and would lose his mind seeing those photos. Within 5 minutes, my phone was exploding. Russell calling my friends, calling random numbers I didn't recognize. When Mom and I showed up at his apartment the next morning, I was still in my club dress, makeup smeared, trying to explain that it was just innocent fun. But he had screenshots of everything, including that photo of Logan's hand up my dress. Even Mom gasped at that one. "Ed, delete those right now," Mom demanded. "The wedding is in 9 days. What wedding?" Russell's voice was ice cold. I tried the tears, tried explaining that it meant nothing, that all brides do this kind of thing. "You're overreacting, it was just dancing." He pulled up the screenshots on his phone. "This is just dancing." Even Mom couldn't defend that image. That's when I dropped the act. "You already paid for everything. You can't cancel now. Do you know how this will make me look?" Russell's expression turned disgusted. "That's Victor's problem, not mine. He paid for it all, remember?" "You insisted Daddy handle everything." Mom's face went white. All those deposits were non-refundable. After they left threatening to sue me for emotional damages, I realized Russell was being completely vindictive. 3 hours later, there was a news van outside my apartment. I'd gone straight to Channel 7 with my side of the story about how my controlling fiancé had publicly humiliated me over innocent bachelorette party fun. I wore a conservative outfit with no makeup, crying about how Russell had betrayed my trust by weaponizing social media against me. I explained how controlling and emotionally abusive he was for not letting me have one harmless night with my girlfriends. The reporter was completely sympathetic, running the segment as "Groom's social media revenge goes too far." The segment backfired spectacularly when internet trolls found my deleted Instagram posts and shared them in the comments. Suddenly, everyone was acting like I was the problem when Russell was the one who'd made our private business public. But the real disaster came when Logan's wife saw the broadcast and recognized her husband. She went nuclear on their joint Facebook, posting everything. Our text messages, photos I'd sent him, conversations where I told him my relationship was basically over anyway, and that Russell was rich. Look, I wasn't technically lying about Russell being wealthy. He did fine as a project manager, and with Dad's money, we lived comfortably. I was just making conversation with Logan. When Dad called that afternoon asking if the photos were real, I could hear the devastation in his voice. Son, I need to know. Did she really do what those photos show? After seeing the evidence, there was this long silence. Then I'm pulling the entire wedding fund. Every penny I can get back, I'm taking. She can figure out the rest. Dad, you don't have to. Yes, I do. I raised you better than this. Your mother enabled this behavior for too long. I'm done. That evening, Chelsea showed up with my other bridesmaids like some kind of intervention squad. We need to talk about Russell's toxic masculinity. Chelsea started. Here's what now? You're being punished for expressing your sexuality, and like another bridesmaid added. It's 2024. Women are allowed to have fun. She can have all the fun she wants, just not as my fiancé. I mimicked Russell's voice. When they tried guilt-tripping me about people's plane tickets and hotel reservations, I'd had enough. That's when I made my biggest mistake, threatening to tell everyone. Russell hit me if he didn't take me back. Even my friends looked shocked. The news did a follow-up segment that evening featuring Logan's wife with all the receipts, texts, photos, everything. She revealed that I'd been begging Logan to leave his wife, sending him explicit photos telling him we were meant to be together. The narrative changed real quick from controlling groom to cheating bride. My social media went private, then disappeared entirely. But I wasn't finished fighting for what was rightfully mine. Since Dad cut off funding, I created a GoFundMe to save my dream wedding. Help me save my dream wedding after public humiliation. I raised $47. Someone donated $2 with the comment, "for therapy." When crowdfunding failed, I tried getting Russell fired by emailing his boss about harassment. His boss forwarded me the email with a note, "You dodged a missile, not a bullet." The breaking point came when I realized Russell had changed the locks on what should have been our apartment. I brought my cousin with a crowbar to get my belongings back, telling security I was Russell's wife and had lost my key. Security called the police, and I was arrested for attempted breaking and entering. At the station, I tried every excuse: medication inside grandmother's ashes, emotional support animal. The cop looked exhausted. "Ma'am, you just gave 3 different reasons." "Because I'm traumatized." My cousin immediately threw me under the bus, admitting I'd paid him $500 and told him it was my apartment. The security footage showed me trying to pick the lock first before calling him with the crowbar. The day before our wedding, I put on my $8,000 dress and went to the venue anyway. The space was still booked. The photographer was there, so I decided to have my wedding photos taken regardless. Walking down the aisle alone, cutting the cake by myself, dancing with an invisible groom, I deserved my special day after everything Russell had stolen from me. The venue staff were so uncomfortable they called Dad. He showed up furious. "You're embarrassing yourself and our family." I deserve my special day. He stole it from me. He stole it. You couldn't keep your hands to yourself for 9 days. The photographer, realizing no one was paying him, left halfway through, but not before posting shots on Instagram with the caption, "Weirdest gig ever, bride no groom. Still wanted couples photos." Those images went viral. Me holding my own hand, slow, dancing alone, toasting to nobody. 2 months later, I was in court pleading down to attempted trespassing. 100 hours, community service, $2,500 fine, and a restraining order keeping me 500 feet from Russell and his residence. My lawyer tried arguing mental health crisis, but the judge wasn't buying it. Your client attempted to break into someone's home with a crowbar. Mental health isn't a free pass for criminal behavior. Logan's wife also got a restraining order after I started driving by their house at night. Turned out Logan and I had hooked up twice before the bachelorette party. Once in his car, once at a motel I'd paid for with Dad's credit card. When Victor found those charges while canceling everything, it was the final straw. My parents are getting divorced after 31 years. Mom blamed Dad for abandoning me. Dad blamed her for creating what I'd become. I'm living with Chelsea now, working at a makeup store after getting fired from my marketing job over the wedding dress incident at work. 3 months have passed, and somehow everyone still treats this like it's my fault. Russell landed a better position and moved to a nicer apartment. I see him around town sometimes, and he looks genuinely happy, like our 3 years together meant nothing. He's even seeing someone new, some quiet librarian who probably never had a fun night in her life. Last week, I sent him a text. "I'm sorry for everything. I know you'll never forgive me, but I wanted you to know I'm in therapy now. I realize I have a lot of issues to work through. I hope you find happiness." He never responded, which proves how heartless he really is. The truth is, I refuse to apologize for wanting to feel alive, for wanting to be desired, for having one perfect night where I remembered who I was before Russell tried to turn me into his perfect little housewife. People keep saying I should learn from this experience, but learn what? Exactly, that I'm not allowed to have fun, that I should have settled for a man who made me feel invisible. Between us, I still don't think I did anything that terrible. It was one night of freedom, and Russell destroyed everything we built over some photos. Maybe I made mistakes, but he's the one who chose to burn it all down instead of fighting for us. That says more about him than it does about me.